the new series coming soon on Jetix.
As many of you know, the film and animation industry nowadays is in a rather turbulent state. Everywhere you look, there are reboots, continuations of old franchises, and attempts to play on the love of fans. Many franchises decay, or they are intentionally ruined by out-of-place modern politics, and the work on the series is entrusted to people who frankly don't care about the fans, the characters, or the franchise, resulting in something like Velma. People also say that audiences may tire of an excess of series and movies of the same genre, like supposedly people got tired of superheroes and suddenly a sequel to those very 90s X-Men comes out. And it blows everyone's mind that, as it turns out, people are tired not of superheroes but of bad scripts and movies. Because when a series is as cool as a new X-Men, suddenly everyone loves it. Franchise owners are afraid to create new projects, to craft new stories, so it's much safer for them to try to reboot or continue the old franchise, hoping that lightning will strike twice and they'll get another X-Men of the 90s. And today we have a video exactly on this topic: how from the depths of oblivion, an old but dearly beloved franchise, Totally Spies, just got resurrected, without any explanation or reason. Totally Spies in general was an extremely entertaining animated series, which I got acquainted with an old beloved Jetix channel, way back in early 2000s, even though its pilot scene is an even early animation style was released on the Fox Kids channel before Disney bought it and turned it into Jetix. The Spies themselves were the kind of cartoon supposedly aimed at girls, where we have three main heroines: fashion, boys, glamour, and attractive villains. Ironically, guys were also crazy about the spies fiction, the aroma of James Bond and his adventures, action, and just overall captivating spectacle. And Totally Spies, like a witch, is primarily a French production, and rest assured, this fact will play its role. So, what were Totally Spies about? It's a long-running cartoon consisting of 6 seasons about the adventures and missions to save the world of our three main heroines: the beauty queen Clover, the main crush of every guy in the neighborhood Sam, and the agile Alex. Though any of them could steal someone's heart, actually. Personally, my favorite has always been Sam. That exact moment when in one cartoon there are 3 waifus in the lead roles at once. In short, they're employed by the governmental organization Whoop and saves the world from all sorts of freaks. Here you got dwarves wanting to steal all the historical buildings in style of Despicable Me,
with both direction and magnitude! Oh yeah!
So, let me get this straight. You kidnap those scholars just to suck out their brains and pump them into your son's head?
Yes.
Here you have all kinds of fairies, aliens, especially the episode with this island where they hit the freakiest freaks of all. They were their own story arcs, in some of them even secondary characters like Mandy, the mean girl from our spies class, became heroes. There was even a supervillain, Team Scam, who wanted to scam everyone. In general, I'm thinking it would be nice to arrange a comprehensive review of the Totally Spies franchise, but nah, not now, it's not the time yet. After numerous adventures, villains, the story arcs, even with groups of teams of villains, our spies approach the finale, where they, to a little tired melody, although it's played just a couple of seconds, defeat their last enemy and, at the same time, eliminated villainy. Yeah, they supposedly destroyed the gene of evil on the planet. Brilliant. And after many years, the Jetix channel closed. And to my surprise, I learned that Totally Spies continued for another season and simply ignored that finale. Then they ended again, and now, a year ago, they announced a reboot. In our time, people are extremely critical of things like reboots. Just look at the Teen Titans and what they did with them, Thundercats and what they did with them, Ben 10 and what they did with them. I mean, I can keep going, that list is very long. People really could have expected another Team Scam in the reboot of the cartoon, because as we are used to, usually such things for some reason are not made for us, not for the fans, for whom the hell knows, for screaming children, or for those who have never watched this cartoon in their life, but not for the fans. But just remember, Totally Spies is a French cartoon, and French animation is not like what we used to in American cartoon industry, and reboots are done completely differently from what we've been used for the last 10 years. And before that, there was still a wave of stupidity with turning everything into children's farce. Who knows for whom? Well, here's a banal example. With the announcement of the new Totally Spies, they slightly changed the designs. But Clover's design, namely her hairstyle, underwent significant changes, causing an outcry among fans, and the creators didn't start saying that those were just some haters complaining. They didn't accuse anyone. They just took the criticism and did as the fans asked. Oh my god! I cannot believe that this happens! But it really did happen! Oh my god! Once again, French animation does everything just right. France in general is a very pleasant country for animators. Over the years, they've developed their own distinct style. Let's put it in this way. French cartoons are much more liberated than American ones. But tastefully so. Beautiful ladies, glamour, a slight touch of anime essence, as anime has long been present in France, which has settled in the minds of future animators. From here, in a way, comes all the jokes about Totally Spies being a cartoon that collected all possible fetishes, with legs, giant women, tiny women, furries, basically everything that some internet dwellers love. Though it's amusing when you realize that almost all French cartoons are like that. Just take a closer look. Not only did Totally Spies secretly incorporate the aroma of various fetishes and slightly risk content, which you might not notice unless intentionally scrutinizing, to the extent of your own perversion trying to discern it. But this was said for a fact. In the end, Totally Spies wasn't about all of that. It was a great action cartoon with gadgets, original villains, some of whom weren't even in the mass culture of DC and Marvel. With glamour and a message that the girls of early 2000s can handle spy business just as well as James Bond. And from every predicament, not matter how many times they were kidnapped and tied up, the spies always found a way out, breaking this very stereotype of a damsel in distress that had bothered many at that time. And good stories, beautiful and interesting characters with action and aesthetics. And in Spies, it's there, appealing to both guys and girls. I don't know how well the show has stood the test of time, but simply clicking on a random episode was still fun to watch. And the reboot, well, it turned out to be not a reboot at all. Surprisingly, the Spies were continued as originally as hell. There is no gap between seasons at all. At most, some changes in animation elements, which still retained everything from the original. Even the stylistic device for animation reduction when characters move abruptly and leave a residual trace. This thing was here from the very first episode, and it remained here, perhaps with a little more anime essence. After all, in France, they really love anime, and it has mixed so much with French cartoons that it has become their special style. Hence the occasional appearance of chibi versions of Spies during jokes. Although such humorous moments were simply without chibiness in the first season. And this is only about style and visuals. The atmosphere of the cartoon is so identical to what it was before that no person with Duck syndrome should see and catch here. The first episodes of a new Totally Spies don't just recreate the atmosphere of 2000s, they transport you there. At the same time, the plot of the cartoon doesn't stand still. It's shame we won't see Gladys anymore. Yeah, the local Gladys, which appeared in Totally Spies long before Gladys. It appeared in the third season of Spies, and they aired in 2005-2006, while Portal was released only in 2007. Yeah, such are the jokes. So, what about the plot and atmosphere? Totally Spies became even more technologically advanced. The design of the new costumes is explained within the plot, as they were issued as an update to their arsenal since the old costumes were outdated. And they were also given robot assistants. Various portals, holograms, bionic arms, and flying cars were introduced. In other words, in our mass culture, technology doesn't stand still. And so, Totally Spies, which has always been in science fiction genre, doesn't stand still either. There is more technology, holograms, bionics, flying cars, and almost portals, and much more in the plot. While the style and aesthetics of the original are preserved, I was glad to see those cars from the first season again. In other words, the aesthetic of the original designs hasn't gone anywhere. Moreover, the series didn't forget the events of the previous seasons at all. I was also in micro shock when Mandy remembered that she used to be a spy and now wants to be one again. In some episodes of the previous seasons, she was a spy, as there was an urgent situation, but then her memory was erased. And the continuation didn't forget anything, and even the flashback was a direct cut from the previous seasons. And here she remembers it, accidentally touching some things from the spy organization. There couldn't be a better gift for a fan. The same characters, designs not significantly changed, animation updated, style and aesthetics preserved, and the plot points not forgotten. In other words, the new Totally Spies is not a reboot at all, but a full-fledged continuation with the same spirit of the animated series that we saw long ago on Jetix channel. I am amazed that at one time 2 projects about superheroes in tight suits came out at once, X-Men and Spies, which fully preserved what we loved about the original. If there are to be sequels and reboots, then goddammit, they should be like this. And the French has once again proved that they know how to make cartoons damn well. And what do I want to say in the end? Well, what can I say? This is exactly what the fans need, and their reaction is appropriate. They are even happy about Mandy's return. I, of course, won't speculate that we are finally at the intersection of the era of cartoons when they will finally make a proper continuations, having learned from bad examples earlier. Although, I would like to confess. I mean, what doesn't please and unite us as much as a good cartoon and continuation of a cartoon which treats not only the fans but also itself and its past with care and love. And the Spies are just as cool as they were 23 years ago, with which I congratulate all the fans and the remaining living viewers of Jetix. It's interesting whether such a positive approach will continue for all the series of Spies in the future. Well, if you want more cartoon content, then join our channel. Come on, hop right in. And I'll see you guys in the next one.